It's a 2-1 hockey game. 67's in front of the Kingston Frontenacs on this Thursday afternoon. Sean Young joins us, the strength and conditioning coach with the 67's. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well, Kurt.
We were talking to some of the players the other day, and there's really not a whole lot of time off to enjoy the Christmas holidays or the New Year or that sort of thing. And a lot of their work, when there are those days off, comes into what you do, right?
Yeah, I think I sent a few guys home with some workouts. We got some keeners on the team that like to keep a bit of the Christmas weight off there, but some guys, just take the rest, and it's more for the mind, if anything. Be with your families and really reset, because we're going into hopefully a big push here in playoffs. So
you've got a busy schedule coming up too. You've got 3 games in hand on a number of teams in the conference, and that gives you some extra time, I guess, to work on those strength and conditioning for the stretch run.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's been a different year in the past because we've had a few injuries that you obviously know about, but we have more time with the young guys to help develop them. But, it's a win-win. If we have guys out, we're working with them to put them back together, hopefully, but young guys get the experience on the ice. So if guys come back, they come back healthy, like Graham Clark, things like that. A few of the young guys might come out of the lineup, but that's where we progress year to year. We build these guys off the ice as well, right, and on the ice. So
do you treat it differently, because these are growing boys for in a lot of cases, right? They're 16, 17, and then they get to the 18, 19 year of age, and they're becoming men, and you're watching this happen. So do you treat them any differently as a younger guy versus an older guy?
We will. So we'll take into account things like that, where they are in development and stuff like that, as well as what kind of minutes they're playing and stuff like that. So we try to individualize it a little bit that way. So it makes sense. Some kids need to gain weight, other guys maybe don't need to. They might need to work on more flexibility, things like that. So yeah, we do a bit of individualization. So
yeah, because there's some when you see these guys out of their uniforms and out of their gear, there's some guys who really will develop over a long period of time. It just takes time.
Yeah, and I think we try to mimic what the NHL does the best we can. Obviously, that's a top-down thing from Andre's experience in the NHL, and Mario's. Norm's obviously played there. And it's a little bit different in the sense that we're more of a development league versus that's a performance league. So we can do a little bit more training and things like that. We do all the supplements, and we give them treatment and fascial stretch therapy, all kinds of stuff. So we work them really hard, but we also recover them really hard too.
These are elite players when they make it to an OHL team. There's no question about that. But when it comes to strength and conditioning, maybe they haven't had the full spectrum of what that's all about. You're obviously trying to create good habits and move them forward that way.
That's exactly it. So we're trying, we want to win here in Ottawa. That's the main thing. Is bring home Memorial Cup. That would be amazing. The idea is a long-term goal for these guys. Seeing guys like Ty Felber go on. Sasha Chmielewski still talks to me every day, asking me about certain things he should be doing. Keep in touch with all the guys. So that's really what we're trying to head them off to. If we can produce players that go higher, and a livelihood from playing hockey, that's the main goal in the end. So, and that hopefully will draw young players that will want to come play for us. So.
And we've seen more and more of that over the last couple of decades. The importance of that conditioning, of strength training, and all those things that go hand in hand with a hockey career have really come to the forefront. And for guys like you, your job becomes way more important than it used to be, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot more science in behind it, and people are starting to see, obviously, over the past decade or so, like you mentioned, that there's things that you can do in the off season that will actually help on the ice. Where before it was just play hockey, don't worry about it, get in shape at camp kind of thing. But that's changed. So there's a lot of work that guys do. There's a lot of science and money involved in it to make sure that these guys are performing at a very high level all the time. So it's good for us, good for guys like me who can make a living off it, but hopefully send some of these guys to reach their ultimate goal, which is make the NHL or something like that. So
it's got to be great for you. And you mentioned Ty Felber's name. There's a guy who I think he understood at some point he wasn't putting the necessary work in. He went to work with you. He went to work with a guy like Tony Greco. And hand in hand, he developed some good habits. He improved his performance on the ice and off the ice.
Exactly. Ty's a perfect example. He's got so much talent. He's a hardworking kid. He comes from a great family out in the valley there, and putting the work in, like I say, with me and guys like Tony in the off season. it changed his career, and hopefully it's heading him in the right direction. I know he was back up the other night. I think he got his first goal in the AHL, so hats off to Felly for that. So, no, it's great. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, very pleasing for you, I guess, to down the road when you see these guys progress and end up as pros. It's got to be something you look back on and go, hey, I had a hand in that sort of thing.
Yeah, it is rewarding in that sense, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're the guys that got to do it, though. We're just trying to mold them the best we can so they can produce the best kind of hockey player they can, kind of thing. It's not so much what we do. It's all on them. They're the guys who are out in the ice. So.
Well, you're doing something right. The last couple of years, you've seen great development in this team, and a lot of that comes from the full spectrum of what happens with these players as young men.
Yeah, and the first year is probably the toughest year for the players as well, for the coaching staff. Like Andre, it starts with him top down. Like, he likes hard work first. Norm Millie is same with Mario. Derek Miller, the same thing on ice. So we all work together, and the guys really didn't have much of a choice. It was like, this is the way we're doing things. We're doing things right. Team first atmosphere, and now it's a little bit easier. We can the older guys are taking more responsibility, pulling the young guys along, saying, hey, no, we're maybe doing less reps because we're playing more ice time. So it's a lot of fun to show that leadership, and I feel like the guys are playing better than they've ever played, and it should be a fun second half.
Thanks for your time, Sean. Happy New Year, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Kurt.
All right, appreciate it. Sean Young is strength and conditioning coach with the Ottawa 67's, and as you can tell, they have a lot of input into the development of young players in the OHL and their futures, as a matter of fact.